I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I am based in a little town called Oviedo, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Wellington, New Zealand, and I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating lady coming to us all the way from the US. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so delighted to be here.
So, please tell us your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Okay, well, I am Gloria Grace Rand, and I am based in a little town called Oviedo, Florida, which is just outside of Orlando. And I am, let's see, how old am I? 58. It gets harder as you get older now.
I love it.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I am 58 years old, and I just published my first book, which is exciting. That's something I never actually dreamed that I would do. I have participated in some, hearing strange sounds in the background, sorry. I've participated in a couple of different anthologies before, but this is the first time I ever wrote my own book. And the idea came to me actually a couple months before I actually lost my sister to cancer. And I have been meditating for years. And one morning I was meditating as normal when this idea popped into my head that said, you should write a book about love. And I looked around going, where is that coming from? Because my business is actually marketing, online marketing. I help small business owners writing content for their websites and doing blog articles and things like that. It's like, I didn't think I was qualified to write a book about love. But the long story short of it is the fact that, well, actually, before I get to that, what I realized was like, okay, well, I'll play along with this idea. And I opened up a document on my computer and said, okay, write a book about love. What should I write? And then another idea came to me that said, love is an acronym. I went, oh, okay, that's interesting. So what does the L stand for? And that was let go and let God. I'm like, okay. And the O was open your heart to receive. The V was value your uniqueness, and the E was embrace your divinity. And I was intrigued and curious, but as often happens, life gets in the way. And I wasn't able to really deal with writing the book for a while because unfortunately my sister had taken a turn for the worse. I had to fly out to Arizona to be with her. And as I mentioned, she actually transitioned a couple months later. But so over the next couple of years, as I was, mourning her loss and also trying to get my business going, I started working with a lot of different people, trying to be able to manage all of these things. And I eventually started working with a coach to revisit this book idea. And even though I hired him to help me with my business, we wound up talking more about my spiritual beliefs. And he encouraged me to start exploring this book idea and start talking about it. And the more I did, the better I felt, for one thing, and it helped me to start really getting clear on what these messages were. And one day when we were having one of our sessions, it finally dawned on me why I was given this idea. Yes, it's to help people, but it was to help myself. I had to learn how to love myself. And when that realization came, I mean, it was like a ton of bricks. But of course, as we all know, people usually teach what they need to learn, right?
so
true. Doing. Yeah, and I finally, it took me last year to finally get it all the way done. But I'm very, I'm happy with the results, and it has made a huge impact on my life. And now I want to be able to help others in theirs.
Congratulations, and my condolences for losing your sister.
Thank you.
I know grief is something that a lot of people are dealing with, especially right now.
Yeah.
Never easy when you lose someone that close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was 10 years older than me, but I still, she still died too young. I mean, she was only 64 when she passed. So I was anticipating, 20 more years to have
Yeah.
with my book series.
Wow. So, based on this crazy writing process that you created or you discovered, if you were to talk to somebody right now who's listening to this interview, who kind of feels they've got something to say, but they're not sure about how to do it, what advice would you give them? It sounds to me like you were just trusting those little promptings.
I was, and really what ultimately helped me to get the book done was getting out of my normal place. So instead of just, because I was sitting in my office trying to write this book and not getting anywhere, and then a good friend of mine suggested that maybe I go someplace that actually, that really makes me feel good. And
Yes.
I love going to the beach. It's the water is my happy place. And so I started spending, I would take Friday morning off from work, and it's about an hour's drive to the ocean from where I live. And I would spend the morning just handwriting in a journal. And
Right.
and that helped a lot. And then that got the first draft done, but then if writing a book, of course you have to edit it and kind of go over things. And I got stuck for a while, and then I had another coach recommend to me, just spend 15 minutes a day, just commit to
Right.
15 minutes a day. And I did that, and that actually helped me a lot, because even sometimes, even if I didn't necessarily write, but just at least sitting in front of my computer thinking, even
Yes.
15 minutes about the book, it helped jumpstart me, and I was able to finally get it done.
I was watching a TED talk by Elizabeth Gilbert the other day on how to find your genius. And she talks about just showing up sometimes, even if you have nothing to write.
Right.
She says she goes into her office and she'll sit there with nothing in mind, and she'll tell her genie that I'm here, I am the scribe, work through me, let's get this work done. And it's amazing what happens there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even when I was at the beach, I would just sit down and go, okay, God, what do you want me to say? It's like, what does this mean exactly? And I would just wait a little bit, and then the ideas would come through.
I love that. So you literally channel this book with divine guidance by the sound of it.
Yeah, and absolutely.
Now you have plans for the book. You're going to be running workshops. You're going to be coaching. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely intend to use this as the foundation really for now my business. Because last year I was sort of stuck. I wasn't sure what to do. And it finally realized I was like, I needed to get the book done, because that has given me a foundation from which to create an online course I'll be able to do. I definitely want to do a workshop. I've taught a little bit of these concepts in the past before the pandemic. And it was well received then, but now that I've known so much more and I've really embodied it, I know I want to be able to do, it will be even better the next time around. So I'm looking forward to doing something like that later in the year.
Right now, with the world being where it is, I mean, the pandemic has presented all of us with a magical opportunity, especially for coaches, people who are in the personal development world. People are seeking connection, they're seeking support, they're seeking advice. I think this is a very pivotal time for you to step into that arena and help, right?
Absolutely. In fact, I really believe that the reason it took me this long to get the book done, one of the reasons, was the fact that it needed to come out this year, because I wound up actually, I talk about my sister a little bit in the book, and her birthday was February 21st. And so I talked to my publisher and said, I'd really like to release it on February 21st, 2021, because I love it was 2/21/21. I mean, the numbers are perfect. And so, yeah, I figure it's all divine timing. Everything turned out the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. They say that the Chinese write word for crisis with two symbols. The first symbol stands for danger, The second stands for opportunity.
Mm.
So COVID is presenting us with both. We are literally a breath away from affecting and infecting each other.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we are also more connected as a race, as human beings, than we ever have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially
we're
through the
blessed to have
internet,
technology, even like
yes.
this, to
Yes.
have things like Zoom that has helped so many people stay connected. And it's really good to know, especially people who live alone, that they're not alone. They are able to see other people.
That's wonderful. So, based on what you've learned through writing the book, through the experiences of your life, if you were to work with a new client right now, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you give them based on what life has taught you?
The first is to really spend some time going within and getting quiet, whether that's meditating, prayer, but just to be able to spend some time quietly each day and start listening to your heart, listening to those messages that come through your higher self, to be able to start trusting your intuition. That's one of the big lessons that I had to learn. Another one is to really appreciate who you are, the good and the bad, but mostly the good. All the wonderful qualities that you have, and that sometimes we take for granted, especially if things come easy to us. But if we talk to somebody else who doesn't know how to do that thing, they're like in awe. So we have to be able to appreciate those things about ourselves. And finally, it really is important to truly love yourself. And that means you need to take some time, as the late Louise Hay used to talk about, doing mirror work, standing in front of a mirror every day and saying, I love you, or whatever your name is. It feels weird at first, and I did this. It's definitely weird, but eventually it feels good. And because we've got to be able to take care of ourselves first before we can take care of anyone else. And if you don't love yourself, it's going to be really hard to love anyone else.
That's very true. I remember when I went through my divorce, I was married for 27 years. I felt unloved, unworthy, and I started doing exactly what you're saying. And I realized I'd never actually looked into my own eyes in a mirror and said those words to myself. And I think it's really important, because we look for love outside of ourselves and other people. And then when it doesn't come, we have that sense of, who am I? Nobody loves me. But it starts with us, and you have to put the oxygen tank on you first before you can love anybody else.
Absolutely. I was writing something today that it's like I had to learn how to be my own best friend.
Yes.
Yeah. It starts with you.
Yeah, and it's those words that we say to ourselves. Sometimes you would never say those things to anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we are so harshest on ourselves, and it's got to stop.
So the title of the book is Live, Love, Engage. You've already talked about love. Let's talk about live and engage. What can we expect from this book? What can we learn?
Sure. The Live, Love, Engage really it's for to live fully, to love deeply, and engage authentically. And again, that's what happens when we can start really appreciating who we are. Then it helps us to be able to show up in the world more authentically, where we can talk to people more as ourselves and really have those connections with people.
Yes.
And it just makes it a lot easier to go out through life and just live life to the fullest. So when we're hiding and when we're doubting ourselves, then we're not able to do that. And that's what I really want this book to be able to do, is to help people. The subtitle is How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. And that's what it's really all about.
That is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, I tell you, it's been an absolute honor having you on our show today. I am sure there is somebody out there who is listening to you speak, who's been inspired. especially at this time when a lot of us are losing loved ones. You know, I lost my mother-in-law at the end of March. She lived in Poland. 3 weeks later, my mother died in Zimbabwe. So 2020 was a very, very difficult year for us as a family. So thank you for your words of wisdom. Sometimes you have to just sit in silence and process the grief.
Absolutely. Yeah. And everybody grieves at a different way in a different time. And you really do need to give yourself the grace to do that on the way that feels right for you.
Yeah. No, thank you, Gloria. We look forward to reconnecting with you. We're going to inspire you to be one of our Her Story speakers. So watch out, everybody. Gloria might be running some workshops on our platform as well. And people can buy the book on Amazon. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It is definitely for sale there. So, yeah.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Live, Love, Engage by Gloria Grace Rand. Please go onto Amazon, check her out, buy her book, and support this amazing author. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. I will be back again tomorrow with yet another amazing speaker. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you.